You want to lose fat, burn off the belly, feel sharper. But here's the catch. Most people think the solution has to be complicated. Endless cardio, fancy equipment, some workout that feels like it belongs in a Navy SEAL boot camp. But the truth? The most underrated fat loss tool isn't running on a track, hiring a personal trainer, or some magical supplement. It's walking. Yeah, plain old walking. Specifically, aiming for 10,000 steps in a day. Now, I already know what you're thinking. That's it? Walking? And yeah, it sounds way too simple, but here's the thing. Simple doesn't mean easy. If you've ever tried to hit 10,000 steps consistently, you know it takes more than just motivation. It takes a system. Most people start strong. Then life does what life does. Work piles up, kids need attention, stress kicks in, and suddenly you're at 3,200 steps thinking, I'll just restart Monday. The cycle may repeat itself for years. This video isn't about hyping you up with motivational quotes. It's about giving you a blueprint that works. A system to hit 10,000 steps every single day. Not just when you're feeling like it. Because if you can master this, fat loss gets a whole lot easier. Let's build. Why 10K matters. Why does 10,000 steps even matter? Isn't it just some random number Fitbit came up with to sell watches? Not exactly. 10,000 steps is a target that keeps you active enough to burn a surprising amount of calories without feeling like you're destroying your body with endless cardio. Think of it as a sweet spot. Not so little that you stay stuck, not so much that you quit after a week. Here's the reality. Walking burns more calories than you think. A consistent 10K steps can easily burn 300 to 500 calories depending on your weight, height, and pace. That's the equivalent of a burger, a slice or two of pizza, or, let's be honest, the Starbucks drink you told yourself didn't count. Over weeks and months, that adds up to real fat loss without crash diets or misery. But it's not just about the calories. Walking lowers stress, sharpens your thinking, and helps you sleep better. And let's be real, it's way easier to stay consistent with walking than it is with a workout you dread. You don't need a gym. You don't need perfect weather. You just need your legs, some headphones, and a decent playlist or podcast. So why 10K? Because it's enough to move the needle. Sure, 7K is better than nothing, and 15K is great if you can swing it, but 10K is the golden middle. Challenging, yet achievable, and most importantly, sustainable. Brick by brick, step by step. That's how the fat comes off. The mindset shift. Here's why most people fail. They treat walking like an optional add-on, something they'll try to fit in. That mindset hinders results. You gotta treat walking like brushing your teeth. It's non-negotiable. You don't debate it. You don't wonder if you're in the mood. You just do it. Here's a story. The first time I actually forced myself to hit 10K, it was midnight. I'd been lazy all day, and I looked down. 8,200 steps. I could have said, good enough, but I didn't. I walked circles in my living room until I hit 10K. Now, on paper, that doesn't sound like it changed my life, but it did, because it wasn't about the steps. It was about proving to myself that when I say I'll do something, I follow through. That's how discipline gets built. That's the mindset you need. Stop thinking of walking as optional cardio. Start thinking of it as the daily proof that you're serious. Because once you build that identity, 10K becomes automatic. It's not about perfection. It's about momentum. And the fastest way to build it is to start treating every step as a vote for the person you want to become. How to hit 10K every day. So how do you actually hit 10K without feeling like you signed up for a second job? The trick isn't willpower. It's weaving steps into your life so they don't feel forced. First, start with the invisible steps. Park further away. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. Walk while you're on phone calls. Those little extra steps add up way faster than you think. 10 minutes here, 5 minutes there. Suddenly, you're at 3,000 before lunch without even trying. Second, split it up. Don't wait until 9 p.m. to realize you've only hit 2,000 steps. If you do wait until 9 p.m. to try to knock out all 10K steps, you're setting yourself up to fail. The trick is stacking movement throughout the day so it never feels overwhelming. Think of it like eating protein. You spread it out across the day. For steps, knock them out in bunches. 3,000 in the morning, 3,000 in the afternoon, and the rest in the evening. Way less intimidating than chasing the full 10K at once. Third, add a reason. Walks are easier when they don't feel like exercise. Listen to a podcast, catch up with a friend on the phone, play basketball, pickleball, or tennis with a buddy. Or if you're like me, put on music and let your thoughts wander. When you reframe the way you look at it, walking becomes a reward instead of a chore. Remember when we were kids and couldn't wait to go outside for recess? What happened to that excitement when we had to exercise? And finally, make it non-negotiable. Don't leave it to, if I have time. Time won't magically appear. You have to intentionally carve it out. Treat it like brushing your teeth or showering. You don't skip it just because you're busy. At least, I hope not. Hitting 10K isn't about being perfect. Some days you'll get 9,200. Other days you'll cruise past 12K. What matters is that the average climbs. That's how results stick. Not from motivation, but from movement built into your day. What to do on busy days. Here's a reality. Some days are chaotic. Work piles up, the kids have events you need to attend, or your lover wants to binge watch Love Island all night. By the time you look up, it feels impossible to hit 10K. But here's the thing. You don't need a perfect day to keep your momentum alive. You just need a backup plan. First, set a bare minimum. For me, it's 5K. Even if the day goes completely sideways, I know I can carve out 20 to 30 minutes to pace around the house, walk outside, or even just loop the block a few times. It's not 10K, but it keeps the habit alive and stops the all or nothing spiral. Second, use the commercial break method. Waiting for dinner to cook? Walk around the kitchen. On hold with customer service? Pace the room. Brushing your teeth? Walk in circles. Yeah, you'll look ridiculous, but you'll rack up steps in moments you'd normally stand still. Third, evening resets. If the day gets away from you, throw on a hoodie and go for a quick 20-minute night walk. It clears your head, burns calories, and salvages the step count before bed. Busy days aren't excuses. They're opportunities to prove you can stay consistent even when life gets messy. Because fat loss isn't built on perfect days. It's built on consistently showing up, even when you don't want to. One bad day won't ruin you, but stringing together enough busy day walks, that's what transforms your body. Mistakes to avoid. Most people fail not because walking is hard, but because they make it harder than it has to be. Mistake 1. Obsessing over speed. You don't need to power walk like you're late for a flight. It's not about pace. It's about volume. 10K at any speed still counts. Mistake 2. Relying only on the treadmill. Yes, the treadmill is great when the weather sucks, but life already gives you plenty of opportunities to walk. Stairs, errands, breaks, walking a dog. Use those. Don't confine yourself to a machine. Mistake 3. Treating walking like punishment for eating. This one kills consistency. If you see steps as payback for pizza, you'll resent them. Walking isn't punishment. It's a privilege. Freedom. The more steps you rack up, the more flexibility you have with food. That's a gift, not a burden. And finally, again, the biggest mistake. Waiting until the end of the day to do all 10K. That's like cramming for a test. It might work once, but you'll burn out quickly. Remember, steps are about creating an active lifestyle. Stack them throughout your day, and you'll hit 10K almost by accident. That's how you know you're doing it right. The real benefit. Yes, walking burns fat. Yes, it boosts recovery. But here's the real benefit. It builds identity. When you're out at night, finishing those last 1,000 steps while everyone else is scrolling TikTok or passed out on the couch, you're doing more than walking. You're showing yourself that you're a fit, healthy person. You finish what you start. That's the hidden power of walking. It's not just about physical movement. It's about the mental reps. Each step proves you're active. Each step proves you're in control of your body. And that identity carries over into everything else. The same person who walks at midnight to close their rings is the same person who tracks their food, who hits their workouts, who actually follows through. That's why I say 10K steps isn't just about fat loss. It's about becoming someone who takes care of their body and keeps promises to themselves. Because here's the truth. Fat comes off slowly, but identity builds fast. And once you start stacking that new identity, the fat doesn't stand a chance. Every step matters. Every step is proof. And when you string enough of them together, you're unrecognizable, physically and mentally. Walking isn't glamorous. Nobody's lining up to brag about their step count. And you won't find highlight reels of people pacing around their kitchen at 11 p.m. But that's the point. It's not flashy. It's effective. 10,000 steps a day isn't about magic numbers. It's about momentum. Each step is proof that small actions stacked over time beat any shortcut or crash plan. Most people will keep chasing gimmicks, fat-burning teas, 7-day shred diets, quick fixes that never stick. But not you. If you're still here, it means you're ready to build differently, to embrace the boring work that actually changes you. So don't think a 10K is just steps. Think of it as promises kept, discipline stacked, a version of you built brick by brick. Now, if this hits home, subscribe. Follow my socials in the description and check out the next video. We're not here to chase potential. We're here to fulfill it brick by brick. And hey, if you ever catch yourself pacing circles in the kitchen just to hit 10K, don't worry, that's not weird. That's discipline disguised as weird.